So I've been thinking about ways how to cover this without being quite literally put on a fucking kill list from Ukraine or Russia for that matter. But there's this commentator, Coach Red Pill, aka Gonzalo Lira, and he's been arrested a second time. Yes, a second time. After the first time you get arrested by a corrupt regime, I would take that as a sign to get the fuck out of Dodge, go back to Chile, the United States, or ask asylum to Russia or Donetsk or Luhansk People's Republic. That'd be the time you oh shit, these people aren't fucking around. But it's to get on the topic and the point that I have here. There's extremists on both sides, and especially here in the United States that are pro-Ukrainian. And I just find it weird that people are getting so fanatic and so enfrenzied about shit about a corrupt country that's 5,687 miles away. Do Ukrainians really give a shit about the plight of the American people? Are outbreaks of fentanyl? Abuse of painkillers, homelessness. Do Ukrainians really care about the plight of the Americans, starving American children and families? No, they don't. So I just find it weird how there's people. And again, Ukraine, as I mentioned earlier, has put American podcasters and commenters on kill lists. So if you're a person covering this topic, you better watch your ass. It's gotten to the point where you just go Slava Ukraini and just leave it where it lies, because if you dare speak out against it, if you dare mention statistics, tactical figures, numbers about Bakhmut or the current situation of war, if you cover any of that with any color or obscure perceived cynicism or criticism of Ukraine, oh, all of a sudden you like a Putin pundit or a paid Putin propagandist. Say that 5 times fast. Paid Putin propagandist. Paid Putin propagandists. And in fact, he was Coach Red Pill has been arrested. And there's already some freak of nature out there saying, "Oh, now he has all these years to think in prison for what he's done and talk about the Ukrainian people." It's like, the guy was likely commenting on how bad things were. It's and anyways, it's just getting to the point where it's like beyond parody at this point, and you. I just find it how weird how no one gives a shit about Afghanistan or Iraq anymore. That now that's fade into the ether, and now the big concern now in this stage, and the new scheme and the new in pop thing to do is get involved with Ukraine and Taiwan. And I just find it interesting how all these American politicians saying they care about democracy in Ukraine, when Ukraine has been proven to quite literally assassinate journalists. But then again, the United States has too. They arrested Julian Assange and threw his ass in prison just because he live leaked the Apache gunship footage of them murdering journalists with a 30 millimeter autocannon and shit. But anyways, that's all faint ether. No one gives a shit. And that's a true crime here, is that Americans are quite literally being fucked in every orifice and their wallet. But yeah, you're supposed to care about another country 5,687 miles away and their plight against another country that's 5 to 6,000 miles away. That it, it's not like we're not getting shipments of borscht from Ukraine or Russia, but the main thing you should remember is that if a politician cares, there's money to be had and money to be made, and that's the end of the story. Politicians don't give a shit unless they smell money, period. So regardless of which side you're on, just remember that. And this whole Ukraine Taiwan thing, that's all it is. It's a new fad. Every 10, 20 years there's gonna be a new fad. Now they're like Sudan's a hot spot now, and like Ethiopia's been a hot spot. But see, no one gives a shit about those two places because they're not as resource rich or as involved with political corruption as in Ukraine, Crimea, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I just find it weird how there's like these extremists that if you somehow disagree or like point out skepticism, or dare state statistics or tactical news about Ukraine and the Ukraine-Russia war, you instantly be put on the enemy list, which is really weird. You'd figure, democracies and democratic republics, and there used to be a thing about freedom of press and the freedom of expression and opinion, but I guess that's just my old way of how I used to see America. But I guess it's not the case. And for all of us who remembered a country that was respectable and had like values, tradition, honor, and respect for journalism, I guess that shit's just in the trash heap of history. And I guess we're just old boomers shaking our fists. Holy shit, now I understand why old people are so fucking mad all the time. Because they've literally seen over their lifetime a country be corrupt and turn into literally, like, quite literally, just shit.